Hello everybody, Tall Paul here with Left-Handed Knife Reviews, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 left-handed, model number C81GPLE2. Let's get right into it. First up, we have our facts and figures. This is going to be a 3.44 inch blade in S30V steel running on washers. The scales are made out of G10 and are affixed to stainless steel liners, and the handle measures in right at 4.81 inches. At the time of this review, this knife sells for $154.70 on Blade HQ. Alright, we're going to put a couple items on the table as the actual dimensions of the knife will appear on the screen. First up, we have the world's best pencil, the Dixon Ticonderoga Unsharpened. Follow that up with the little brother of the PM2, the PM3 Lightweight. We'll follow up with another popular EDC option, the Benchmade Bug Out. And we'll round out this selection with the Civivi Elementum. Next up, we'll talk about Larry and my experience while using the knife. The PM2 was very nice to use. The G10 has a really good texture to it, which gave us a very secure grip. The size of the handle gave us ample room to hold this knife quite a few different ways, very comfortably. The knife has a great consistent lockup and deploys a few ways really nicely, either with your Spidey flick, using the thumb hole, or doing what is called the Spidey drop. Overall, this knife was a joy to carry for review. Alright, let's take a look at the things that the PM2 really succeeds at. The ergos of this blade are really good. The whole knife fits in the hand really well. Me and my dad both have quite large hands, and there is plenty of room to hold this knife, either choking up a little bit further back or with a chef's knife hold. It all feels like that's the natural way to hold the knife, which is fantastic. This blade is really stellar. It's a great clip point shape. It goes from really thick and hardy right up towards the pivot down to a really nice point. This blade shape combined with the taper really make this knife well suited for a lot of EDC tasks. Anything we threw at this knife, it was able to handle handsomely. Even complex tasks like opening an avocado and taking out a pit, this knife really succeeded at, because you can use the tip of the knife so you're not kind of mashing up the avocado and then kind of use the heel of it to take out the pit. And it really just kind of sings through the task, which was great. And the last thing we wanted to mention in the succeeds category was the deploy and the lock. This knife deploys like a dream, no matter which way you do it. The action is incredibly buttery smooth, and the lock is. Need I say more? Next up, we have our struggles. We did have two struggles that we saw with this knife. The first one is this little spot right here on the spine of the blade. When using the choke up position especially, your thumb feels a little bit cramped. This very much could have been due to the fact that Larry and I have much larger hands, but it didn't feel as ultra natural as some of the other positions that we were holding the knife. And when using it, we did kind of want just a little bit more room in that area. And the second struggle we did see with the knife was the fact that Spyderco does use red Loctite or permanent red locker on their pivots. This was my first experience dealing with it. I struggled with it a little bit off the bat, then took the forums and found a way that works for me. I made a little video on how to do it if you're looking to do it. I will leave a link down in the description. But it was definitely a struggle, and it really should not be that hard to disassemble a knife, in my opinion, so that was something we saw as a struggle. Next up, we have our points of note. Points of note are neutral things that fall between successes and struggles that we want to mention. So, pocket clip is not a deep carry pocket clip. The lanyard hole is present. And the other thing about this knife is the aftermarket support is phenomenal. There are plenty of makers out there making scales, pocket clips, full hardware kits for these knives, including full remods where it's actually a button lock rather than the compression lock. If you want it, even if you're a left-handed individual, you can find somebody to make it. And that's a really cool thing to see for a knife. All right, now for everything that's left, the part of the knife review, we talk about everything left-handed. This is a left-handed knife. This is a mirror of a regular PM2. Compression lock is on the opposite side. The scales are a little bit different. The setup on the scales is slightly changed. So the compression lock on a left-handed knife is going to be manipulated with your index finger by design. To use a right-handed compression lock for a left-handed individual, they need to manipulate it with their thumb. This leaves the one finger on this side of the knife to compress the lock, not leaving a lot of room for control. Should something happen and you lose this grip, the knife has one way to go, and that's up. With the left-handed PM2, you can have two fingers on the knife and still manipulate the lock with the third, having full control over the knife. Pocket clip is going to be four-way reversible, tip up, tip down, left or right-handed carry. And your scales are going to have good cutouts for a left-handed individual, as well as a right-handed individual, so that you can open this easily with either the thumb hole or a Spidey flick. Overall, this is an incredibly left-handed knife. All right, let's talk about our final thoughts and recommending this knife. We recommend this knife to anybody looking for a great EDC knife that has really good ergos and an awesome blade. This is an EDC knife that carries incredibly well, and there's a reason that this knife is kind of the benchmark that a lot of these knives in this price point are held to, and even knives that are above this price point. If you're looking for a knife and you're willing to spend $150, you really cannot go wrong with this knife. Thank you very much for joining me today. Be sure to subscribe for more great knife content. See you next time.